In this video, I'm going to break down the power it took for me to finish 4th at the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships in Abu Dhabi. We'll look at my average power, normalized power, key surges, and exactly where the decisive moves happened. If you have ever wondered what kind of watts you need to survive and actually be competitive at the very top level on esports, this should give you a pretty honest look inside. Let's jump into the data. Stage 1 is a pure climbing test. Riders start together and 2 minutes later a virtual chase line sets off behind them. If the change line catches you, you're out and your point stops there. The longer you stay ahead of that line, the more points you score. So it's all about pacing your effort, one long steady climb. In the semifinals, I got 27th place in this stage. So my aim was to get a decent amount of points by staying in the pack without expending too much energy. Sadly on this stage, I'm missing the fit file from the workout and MyWhoosh was not able to recover it. But my 5min and total stage average power still exists in the events data. We set off and it was very easy until Hayden Pucker attacked. Attacking this early with a stage full of adrenaline-pumped athletes is not clever. So we got closed pretty fast, but still may have taken a toll on some of the athletes having to do anaerobic stuff like this at the bottom of the long climb. The pace line starts and the pace settles down for a bit. At minute 3, Leonard Teugels goes crazy mode. Jason follows, Kaminsky follows, and everyone responds to our attack. And we settle down some more. From 3 minutes to 6.5 minutes, we do a stable 5.5 to 6 watts per kilo, so it felt really great. From 6.5 minutes, Teugels attack again. And from here on out, the pace is relentless. For these 10 minutes, the pace is around 450 watts or 6.5 watts per kilo. So it was a lot to say the least. When the pace line comes, I push some more and end up in 9th place with like 8 points down to 10th place, and the 5 riders ahead of me was within a 5-point gap, which is really good for me. This gave me both confidence and motivation for later stages. The heat on the stage is crazy, and after stage 1 I realized I had way too little drink with me. I had only 2 bottles with 100 gram carbs in each. Luckily, Stefan van Elst gets contact with an employee and asks for water, such that I also can get a couple bottles. This was crucial. Then I just spun out my legs at like 50 to 100 watts until stage 2. Stage 2, it is a 12-kilometer lap with rolling hills and short, sharp climbs. Points are given at 5 spots. Sprint 1, climb 1, sprint 2, climb 2, and at the finish line. Every time a rider hits one of these checkpoints, the first 20 across score points, with the winner taking the most. It's made for explosive riders who can sprint and climb again and again. For this stage, I didn't really have a plan. I just thought I go all in for everything to gain the most points. If I die was my thought. We set off and the pace was fairly easy. The first 2.5 minutes was pretty chill with an average of 4 watts per kilo. Nobody had the balls to do a move without Turek. Turek sent it and he is clear, nobody follows. Later, Ricardo Panizza attacks, while the rest of us get ready to do an all-out sprint. In the sprint, which I felt like didn't go as hoped, I peaked at 999 watts for 10 seconds, while the whole effort was around 40 seconds at 700 watts. This effort ended with me up in 12th place. Then we went straight into the rollers. Here it is all about pushing hard on the climb and staying with the pack. But also because of cycling esport dynamics, stay at the tail of the pack in the descents to get momentum into the next climb. I managed to do this at some of the climbs, but some of them I end up in the front and have to expend a lot of energy to stay in the pack. I think most of us survive the rollers and we come into the final climb. Here, Björn Andreasen does his famous move. He attacks hard on the final climb. Jason Osborne follows, Pavel Sierski follows, and this is basically an all-out 30-second sprint. Here I did 900 watts for 25 seconds with a max power of 1007 watts. Through this climb banner, I actually ended up in 5th place, which is really amazing. The front guys get a gap that I decide to close by myself. I see the guys slowing down, so I decided to push a little bit harder just to catch them. When I come, I have really good momentum, so I just decide to fly through them. And I see that nobody follows. This is a dream come true for me. So I give a lot of power, but not everything I got, and I can just flow through to the banner. This was a critical moment for me to score the points I got in the end. Going through the banner, I decide to slow down and get with the guys again. Now I'm questioning how will the next climb go. The effort from sprint 1 through the rollers and until this banner was a normalized power of 490 watts. So that's over 7 watts per kilo for 8 minutes. But I thought I'll just give everything I have to stay with the guys and try to score as much points as possible for the final 2 segments. The climb 2 and the finish line. I think a lot of the guys are super tired now, so the pace was actually not that crazy as I expected. The front pack and the pack behind. So from here on out, I just push and try to stay in the position that I have. Jason attacks and nobody decides to follow. This is actually very good for me because I wouldn't have been able to follow. So I'm still staying with the guys, but somewhere around the top I managed to get dropped. And from here on out I go solo from the top of this climb until the finish. Here it was just survive and scrape the most points that I could get. So for the next segment and at the finish line I end up in 8th place, which is 24 points for each, which will be 48 points, and that is really good for me. So overall in this stage I get 6th place. After this stage it hurt in my lungs, legs was screaming and it did not feel great at all. But finally we had some minutes breaks, so I probably downed 100 grams of carbs and loads of water to get ready for stage 3. Stage 3 is not flat, fast and all about speed. There will be no breaks. 8 laps of a 1.5 kilometer circuit. At the end of every lap, the first 20 riders across the line score points. And on the final lap, those points are doubled. That last sprint is huge and can decide the whole championship. So positioning and timing your final kick are everything. My strategy for this race is like the others. F around and find out. Coming into the sprint on lap 1, I actually do a really decent sprint with 10 seconds at 1046 watts. But it seems like everybody was super strong, so it was impossible to get a good placement in this lap. And while he is attacking, I am getting ready for the second sprint of the stage. On this lap, I do a critical error. I push way too hard over the top and get in the front of the pack. And when you're stuck in the front, when there's about a sprint that is about to go down, you are effed. So you can see everybody doing high numbers and I end up way back. So now I did a huge effort and I think I only got 2 points or something like that. So now it was just to recover and wait for the next lap. Coming into the third sprint, Jason Osborne, Björn Andreasen and Kasper Bormans goes on a breakaway attack. So I decide I will try and jump in. So you can see way back there I'm actually getting a small gap, which I slowly increase. And I actually get a little gap from the group behind. And I can push like 8 to 10 watts per kilo and stay away from the pack, which is really good. So here I scored 4th place crossing the line. Coming into lap 4, Jason and Lionel Vuyasin gets a gap again after being caught the 3rd time, but I think this one will stick for the rest of the race. While they are on the breakaway, us guys in the back have to do another sprint, and by now you can really feel it in the legs and lungs and everything. But you just got to stick with it and push as hard as you can. Hopefully you can time it perfectly and get a good position when you cross the banner. So on this lap, I think I get like a mid-level. Yeah, on this one I actually got third place crossing the line, so that's really good. On lap 5, I do another critical error. You can see me all the way in the front there, and I end up on the left side. And you can see when the sprint starts, I have no draft. I have the gray numbers on my whoosh. They are supposed to be green if you are in the draft. So I just push as hard as I can, but there is nearly nothing I can do. And I just end up way back in the pack, and I score like, yeah, 10th place or something like that. So that is not good, but it's okay. Coming into lap 7, actually, they have a pretty decent gap on us, like 20 seconds. But I think I do this sprint really good, but I'm not actually sure because they have this. Okay, there it comes, and I get... Yeah, I'm not sure what position that is, but maybe like 6 or 7, so that's fine. And we are going into the final lap, finally. And here I can see Björn Andreasen go off the front, and I get a little bit scared because, as you can see on the standings, he is now in 5th place, I'm in 4th place, and he is 2 points behind me. So that means if he gets 2 positions better than me, he will be in 4th place and not me. So I respond to this attack, but not yet. I waited until the final climb. Björn Andreasen will use a lot of power to keep this gap from everyone. I think everyone are super gassed to push themselves to the limit in the final lap. So here you can see in position 11 I push like 700 watts. I think it's here I'm going for the move. I see Daniel Turek has tried to get away also, and I try to follow him. So we do 600 watts over the top of the final climb before the final sprint. And here Jason and Lionel Villasin will pass the finish line. Congrats to them. I wish I was in their break, then I would maybe get 3rd place, or I would for sure get 3rd place. But you got to take some risks to do that, and this guy is just a robot, a machine. It's crazy. And here we are, final sprint against Björn, and I realize here I will win anyways, so I just let him pass me, and that will, I will not win, but I will get 4th place. Congrats to Björn Andreasen, that was an epic final sprint finish against us, and it was nice congratulating everybody with a final effort in the final stage and finally get this over and done with. And now we can celebrate the incredible effort everybody did this race. So in conclusion, first stage was around 425 watts normalized. The second stage was like 450 watts normalized power. And the last stage was only 406 watts normalized power. So in total it was like 51 minutes at 430 watts normalized. So that's a pretty huge effort. I want to thank everyone that supported and cheered for me. That was awesome. It was so awesome doing my first World Championship. I hope there will be a next year.